Steve, first of all, what did you make of the Burton game last week?
I think the same as everyone in the stadium felt, that had a Rotherham persuasion or a neutral point of view, is that we had enough good opportunities, enough shots at goal, enough final entries into the penalty box, and played really, really well. But we were a little bit sloppy defensively also. So that's not to be forgotten or forgiven either. So there's work to be done there. But overall, it's just another game where we should have 3 points. A bit like Bristol Rovers, it's points that you'll never get an opportunity to get again. So there lies a disappointment. But you have to be able to break it down to, was the performance at a level where you win game in League One? Yes, absolutely. Did we score enough goals to win? You should be scoring 2 to win. So that's the other end of the spectrum. But an excellent performance, but not an excellent result, obviously.
We talked about it a few weeks ago about statistically things being in the right place, but the results not going the way that you would have hoped. Are you still in a good place with that? Do you feel like this will turn if you just keep doing what you're doing?
Yeah, listen, as a manager or a head coach, you have absolute nightmares if you're losing games and you're not making any chances and you're not getting in the final third. To give you a perfect example of that, Rotherham United last season, didn't score goals. Why? Because they never got over the halfway line, so you don't give yourself a chance to score a goal. If you look at this season, if you include the 72 clubs in the EFL and some outstanding teams, the number one team for shots at goal is us. The number one team for shots on target is us, but we're one of the lowest goal scorers. So it tells you there's an area of the team there that we need to have a substantial improvement in. But sometimes you go through phases in football matches as a manager or a head coach where you just don't get that little break in front of goal, and that seems to be what's been happening. Some either bad misses, but there's also some good defending in there. And whilst I say this, Rob, we're not just pointing here at strikers. Chris T could have had a hat-trick against Bristol Rovers. Big Hacks could have had a couple last week against Burton. So it's a common theme. So, but all we can do is go on the training ground and work hard in the belief that it will turn. I've had teams doing this before, probably not to this level, but they've done it before, and we found a way to turn it.
I just wonder if a game like this against Birmingham could be the catalyst for change. It's a very difficult game, isn't it? But if you were able to win it, it could just sort of help turn a corner in that regard.
Well, I think if Huddersfield were entertaining Birmingham tomorrow, everyone would be saying game on Saturday. Sorry, everyone would be saying game on. And yet we're entertaining Birmingham here, so we're expected to lose and lose heavily. I said last week, and I meant it when I said Birmingham City are the galacticos of League One. They are. £20 million spent in the transfer window, huge wages, huge investment. But I applaud that. I've always said if you're Chris Davis and you go in there and you get that laid before you, you are 3 Christmases have come at once, aren't you? Birmingham City is a huge club. They're capable of 100 points. That's my professional opinion. I said it 2 years ago with Ipswich, that they were capable of doing something amazing in League One. So you base it on experience, you based it on judgment, you based it on knowledge, you base it on a whole number of factors. But that don't take away the fact that we've got a big Birmingham City coming here on Saturday, and we need to be ready and we need to produce the same type of performance that we've been producing, because some of it's been very good, but with an end product.
What did you make of them against Wrexham? Was that a good game to watch them play before they face your team?
Yeah, I went to the game. The only disappointing thing I found in the evening is they didn't put me next to Bex. I'm really, why am I set 14 rows away from these guys? I thought they were outstanding. I've always had a thought in League One for many, many moons that the best team in League One that I had seen for many moons was the Rotherham United team that got promoted to the Championship when I was in charge. I could name that team off the top of my head. Do you know what I mean? With the people that was in it, from Tavenet right back to Ravel and Thomas up top, and a host of really gifted players. I come away, I drove out of St Andrews on Monday night, and I said to myself, that team's as good as I've seen. That team is as good as I've seen. They work incredibly hard. They've got a huge desire. It's like a huge oil tanker with a fan base behind You have to have the right characters. I think you've got to give credit to to Gary Cook, the CEO, very knowledgeable man, ex-Man City, of course, and Craig Gardner. They've done an absolute wonderful job in making sure that the tools the manager gets to work with for getting football are the right people, the right types of attitude. So everything about Birmingham City is good, but we want to make it not so good on Saturday.
You played them in your first game when you returned at the end of last season, and although lots changed for both teams since then, they did have the very expensive striker in their lineup as a lone player at the time, and he had a good game on that occasion. Does that game help at all? Because that was a good competitive game from your team. I know it's a very different team.
Yeah.
Can you take anything from that to take you into this match?
Well, my last two games against Birmingham was the one you highlighted when I came back in against Gary Cook as boss, and it was a draw. Young Stansfield scored that day, and it was ruled out, I think harshly on their part, but that was ruled out for offside. My previous time to that is we'd win 2-0 at St Andrews. So the track record in terms of club to club with me there is good, but this is a different team. You know, it's a different focus. It's from top to bottom. It's different owners. Can't say different supporters because the Blues fans will be there for life. You know, but from our point of view, this is a real tough test coming in the back of games we should have won, and now we're not expected to win. So, but we will ensure that certainly from a home perspective we'll be packed. From a away perspective, they'll be trying to sneak into the home end and all sorts that they'll be doing. It's a bit naughty. But let's go out and give it our best. And I've said to the players this morning, and we'll continue to say it till the game starts, we go out and we give everything we've got. I can ask no more of the group. It's only when we don't give everything we've got can I ask more.
Do you love a game like this? I get the sense that this is a Steve Evans type of game.
Yeah, I think the bigger the game, the bigger you should embrace it, the more you should look forward to it. And every game's massively important. We would get no more than 3 points if we had to beat Birmingham on Saturday than we'd get from beating any team over the course of the season. So from our point of view, I love it. I think the players should embrace it. You know, we are playing it's you know, when we played against Ipswich a couple of years ago, it was almost like a special occasion because they were purpose built to do a job. Ipswich boys done the job. I think this Birmingham side is the first side I've seen in League One now where I've sat there and thought this could be 100 points here. This could be 100 points, but we don't want any of those points to come from the Millers.
Just finally, any team news to report? Any injury issues or anything?
No, Kelly won't be fit for Saturday. That's the downside from our point of view. And obviously Andre's not playing, so everyone else is good to go.
With Kelly, you're just being careful with him because you don't want to lose him for a long period.
Listen, the downside to Liam is a little niggly upper end groin strain. Last time he did that, he was asked to play on it early and was away for 12 weeks. We're nowhere near that scenario. We're 2 or 3 weeks. In 2 or 3 weeks, he's back and he's playing. So we're not going to be silly with William Kelly. In fact, I've given him a few days off. He's got a beautiful young family, and he's going to spend a couple of days with them. And he'll beat our game on Saturday. He'll bounce back in middle of next week.
Best of luck, Steve.
Thank you.
Steve, I know you've been happy with your own budget and very appreciative of the support you get from the chairman. Birmingham come with a £15 million player. It's in League One.
Well, it's not, they don't just come with, you know, the young boy Stansfield's a special talent, but, you know, arguably they've brought foreign boys in who've cost a lot of money. They've brought John Alfie in who's cost a lot of money. They're just a Bailey Peacock Farrow, of course. I gave him his debut as a kid at Leeds. You know, so they're blessed with an all-round squad, but their true measurement is not facing a club where they've just put 22 million, 23 million pounds on the table to buy and invest in players in League One. That's not our true measurement in League One. I have absolutely no complaints about the resources we have. We have good resources to build a good squad in League One. We've done that. The stats back it up. The stats are evidential. People say, well, stats count for nothing. They're right in terms of the end result, but they give you an indicator. I've also had teams that said very few shots a goal and losing. You've got deep problems there, and we've got surface problems, which we need to fix, but we ain't got deep problems.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago, you said Clark Harris was 75, 80% fit. You're looking forward to a couple of weeks ago, midweek games, you can get a lot of training. Where do you think he is now?
Well, I think he's probably near 90. I think we're gradually getting there with Jono. I think everyone's seen his performance against Burton. It's what we expected from Clark Harris. He led the line magnificently. He worked harder off the ball for the team magnificently. He got the goal. he's unlucky not to have a second and third goal in the second period. So Jono is he's worked so hard to get there. So we're delighted with Johnson. You know, we'd prefer him 100% every time he goes on the pitch. We're probably a couple of weeks away from that, but these 3 midweeks have helped us.